We gotta save that.
Okay. Well, we're all right. What's up, everyone? My name's Justin Odisho. Welcome back to another episode of my podcast. It's been a while, but to make up for it, I have not one, but two guests with me. So today I have Mo and Abdu, and together they kind of form like a little
Modu.
Modu. I was gonna say, is that where Modu comes from?
Yeah.
Mo and Abdu.
Yeah,
great
together.
Name. And I'm going to interview them today because they have this really cool app that I've been watching them develop called Filmed, but spelled like Film3d almost.
You could pronounce it either way. Most people call it Film3d.
And so it's a really cool app. It's like a camera filter app that lets you do these like 3D stereoscopic GIF type of things, which I've talked about on my channel. And I've been watching you guys kind of develop and launch it, so I just kind of wanted to get that story. So I guess we should start out with letting you introduce yourself, because I clearly don't do the greatest job.
Well, you can go first.
First of all, who are the camera guys with us today? We got some extra guests today.
We got the homies right now from Toronto Snap. They've been recording us all day. I did like a photo shoot with them. They put me in some crazy outfits. I'm really excited to see those photos. Thank you again, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, that's dope. So who are you for someone who might not be familiar with you? Like,
cool. I'm Mo Alyssa. I'm from Ottawa. I'm the co-founder of Modu. I'm a tech entrepreneur and freelance photographer. I direct videos, and I just I love creating. That's me in a nutshell.
Dope.
My name is Abdu Sar. I'm also from Ottawa, Ontario, in Canada as well. And I've been developing apps for a pretty long time. And then I've gotten interested in developing photography apps. And that's how me and Mo came together on the project.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how did you guys meet, first of all?
I've known Abdu since high school. And he's just always been he's had an app
even
since
middle
high
school, in fact.
He's had his own app, and he was I think he was making money and shit off the app. He was the first person to have, what's that thing where you stand on it?
Oh, the hoverboard.
He had a hoverboard in high school. Imagine, he was the only one.
Dang.
And I was like, wow, this kid's cool. And I feel he had some people hating on him, and I was like, yo, he's so cool to me.
What happens when you ride them through the hallways.
Because there was those cool kids in school, the popular kids, and I guess we weren't part of that. And I was just looking at him. I was like, he's setting his own wave. And then we've just kept we've always just talked to each other, and then we were always like, yo, you're cool. And then we've always wanted to work with each other. So since after high school, we were we actually had one project.
Yeah, you're skipping over the funniest part.
Yeah,
how old are you guys, by the way?
I'm 21.
I'm 21 as well.
Okay, I was going to say, because I don't think I had the hoverboards in high school. I'm 26.
I graduated.
We had the scooters.
I graduated
Pogos,
4 years ago
too.
yesterday.
That's dope. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, the funniest part about how Mo and I met is that we always saw each other around school, as Mo mentioned, but we really only started working together when we both tried out for the curling team. So me and Mo were both on the school curling team, as a joke, and then we both made the team, and then we just developed the whole idea of working together on a team, and then that led to other collaborations.
It's knowing that we're both
curling is the one where you shave the ice, right?
Yeah,
you broom the ice and you throw the rocks and
I always
stuff.
found that sport intriguing.
It's the most Canadian
we're
sport.
so
It is
Canadian,
very. I don't think our high school would ever have a curling team in the States.
I needed a winter sport because I would just play video games. I'd just be on my laptop playing League of Legends or RuneScape.
Yeah, I feel I used to play a lot of games too, but Xbox games and stuff. I feel that's how a lot of people get into the whole tech space. Sometimes you start playing games and then you're like, oh, virtual reality.
Yeah, so true.
Cinematography and photography. What was the app you had though in high school?
Oh,
what kind of apps were you making? Just Tetris.
Yeah, I was always
tic-tac-toe?
I've always been coding, so I got into coding in grade 4 with those robots. I don't know if you remember them, those Lego Mindstorms. You would build them with Lego, then you'd plug them into the computer and code them around.
Oh,
and
sweet.
ever since then, I was just super into coding. But it was really only in high school where I just wanted to take coding to the next level by putting whatever I would build onto everybody's phones. And then so I started doing that with mobile apps. So then the first big one that I put out in high school was a relaxation app. So with that relaxation app, essentially it would use frequencies to help people relax. And I did a small launch up within my friend group, and they're like, oh, you should put this on the App Store. And I put onto the App Store, and then it went to #1 health and fitness, and then Snoop Dogg even gave it a shout out, which was like the craziest part.
Like on his Instagram or what?
I was on his Twitter.
Just like organic?
And
or?
it was like totally random out of the blue.
It was like during his TV show or something?
No, he was just like,
Had,
I think someone sent it to him. And then when someone sent it to him, he just said like, yo, I was checking out this app called Celestial. It's a cool app to like kick back and relax to. And I was in English class, like, you know, reading like Macbeth or something. And I see my phone have that pop up, and then I just start freaking
You're like,
out.
I'm dropping out.
It
Yeah,
crossed my mind that day,
Shakespeare.
man. I had a pop quiz later that day.
That was so cool when I saw that.
That's
for real.
super cool. So did that before, were you just like making apps like kind of like for fun, and did that like kind of spark something in your head like, yo, this could do something? Or-
Exactly, yeah. I'd like never released like a major app before on the App Store. Like I was always just like playing around on my computer and then putting stuff out to like my friends. But then that was finally like them saying to put it up onto the store. That was like the push that I needed to just start.
Was it
getting
just
my
for
stuff.
free or like 99 cents or?
So that was back in the days where there was like pro apps and free apps. So
Abdul was
I had
doing
like
some crazy
the
hacking.
pro version, and then they had like the free version as well.
So you had like the freemium options or whatever they call it, right?
Exactly, yeah. So it was like you get the free one, and then you could just like upgrade to the pro.
I
for
think
a
you should
certain
talk
price.
about like how you hacked into like the top charts.
Is this
Oh,
Because
that
that
was
was
crazy,
like,
yeah.
because that was like back when apps were like kind of brand new.
So when you say
And the-
hack, you mean like how we
like growth
say
hacking.
growth hacks?
Yeah.
Like you're not actually back there like, let me log into the mainframe.
No, growth
They'd
hacking.
probably patch this out now, but what I found out like way back then, because like they were still like doing all their stuff with the rankings, was that you could literally force your way up the top charts just by having a certain number of people download your app within a certain amount of time. So what I did is that I garnered a bunch of interest on my Facebook by just adding a bunch of like random people that like I barely even knew. Like started like messaging them with like a bot, getting like them interested in the product, and then putting them into like batch groups. So essentially what happened is like on the day that like I launched out the app, I would like select a group every hour, and then I would send them all the link, and it would look like a total like organic message from me saying like, hey, like the app is now out, like you should go download it. And then so by doing that like over like course of like a few hours, I was able to like get it to like number one on the
Yeah, and back
health
in
and
that
fitness
day,
charts.
everyone probably thought the messages were like, "Oh, this guy's messaging."
Exactly, yeah. It's like, oh, this is authentic.
No
as hell.
one knew. So that's super cool. So you've had an app go top, and I saw Filmed also, like went on the charts too. But I guess
we've been in the charts like since we've released like in different countries.
yeah,
Like we've
in
been,
the
like-
photo and camera section.
Yeah, like we've been ranked in like 70 features around the world.
So,
So like not like top 10.
I
but
think
like,
we've hit
we
like
could be
number
like top,
4. on the
Didn't you
free
guys hit like the
charts.
featured page one time? Like
Yeah, we're
favorite new apps or something?
Yeah, definitely. We're actually been featured in the same channel in Asia, but it hasn't done anything. It's like in the most randomest, tiniest cities.
Yeah. So I guess
It's
we're
so cool.
skipping ahead right now, but since we're already on the topic, like what is Filmed? How or what is that for someone who's curious?
Well, Film3d is just a simple app that helps you take 3D images, stereoscopic images, similar to the Nishika or Nimslo camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess
We
this
try to,
this
like-
gets into like a whole backstory now.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it's someone that's not into photography, they won't know what the Nishika is.
yeah.
But I feel like we've taken down the Nishika ever since we released the app. It's
I
pretty
feel like
That's
it's
a bold
been-
statement.
Well, I mean, it's been dead since the 80s. No.
Well,
Well,
I feel
okay,
like it's like so popular.
it's super trendy.
Yeah, it's super trendy. Yeah.
So for anyone who's listening and is like wondering, if you follow my channel along, so the Nishika is this like technically it's a toy camera. I think it's in the 80s or something. They had it. It's like just type in Nishika N6000 and you'll
It's
see
got
it.
like 4 lenses and it
Yeah.
takes.
Yeah, it has
a picture
4
at the same
lenses
time.
and all 4 of them will take a picture at the same time. So I think back in the day what they used to do with it was, you guys know like those holographic like shiny cards where
Yeah.
if you like turn it to the side it
Yeah.
like changes.
Yeah, we're actually trying
You
to
would like mail in
do
your
stuff
film
like
to like the
that.
Nishika labs, and
Yeah.
then they would like make one of those for you.
Yeah, and
Took
they still
forever.
have stuff
Yeah.
like that today. I don't
I
know
saw
what
a
they
gallery
is.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was for. But recently, in the past couple years, and I noticed this myself too, obviously, like all these retro film looks and film styles are coming in. I mean, even you could say that's how Instagram blew up, kind of,
Yeah, like Huji as well.
and Fuji Cam.
It's blowed up.
But yeah, recently in a lot of these music videos, you'd see, and Instagram, you'd see these GIFs, these boomerang type of GIFs where it's like, it looks like something's frozen in time, but you can see all the angles of it. So people kept asking me like, how do you do this? How do you do this? How do you do this? So I looked into it, and like I made a couple of tutorials on it. How did you end up deciding, yo, this is what we got to make an app about?
Well, we had like our first app, but then we wrote like all these crazy ideas, and then the next day, like Apple just released like an article with all the features we wanted to do.
Yeah, I was gonna be like a filtering app.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like
the
photo
like
editing,
the blur,
yeah,
in
yeah.
the back, like the portrait mode, and
The
all
stuff
Oh
that
yeah, I
happened-
remember
yeah.
it was gonna be like, so you'd have like the ability to like vlog with like portrait on.
mode and everything. And then the next day, like they just released it. So we were just like, okay, let's think about some other stuff. And then I just came back from LA, and then we just both sat down. He was like, yo, how do we, like, what's this effect? And then I was like, oh, it's like this 3D effect by this old camera. You could probably do it you could do it with a DSLR. And he's like, oh, it'd be sick if it's an app. And then I just showed him, I was like, oh, if you could do the DSLR, then you could do it with your phone since it's one lens.
Yeah.
And then
It's funny what
Yeah.
happened before like I came to you with that. Was like I was sitting at home and I was just like watching TV, and I saw this Fido commercial, and there was like a bunch of like youth running around town, and they had like these like weird looping photos like appearing every now and then so what happened was like I messaged their team on Reddit, and I was like, hey guys, like what is this effect and like how'd you do it? And then they said, I think the response, I still have it like screenshot, it was like, oh, we can't tell you that because like our marketing team has it like blocked out.
It's proprietary.
Yeah, so then I was like, damn, like who
So
do I know that
lame.
like does photography that can just like really break this down and like help me recreate this? And then boom, instantly thought about Mo.
yeah, we just like met up, and then like we literally met up at a Starbucks on campus, Carleton campus, booked a room in the library. The library closed. We went to Algonquin, and like we were just like already trying to build a prototype, because I was like, oh, you could do it with your phone, and then I was like, oh, you just have to move it like 4 times,
Yeah.
and stitch these images. And then like ever since, like we would just link up and like grind till like 4 a.m. trying to get this algorithm to work.
Yeah, that's what I majored in college, is like information technology and coding.
Oh,
So
that's the
I've
best.
taken
Crazy.
coding classes. No, I suck at it though. So like the furthest I've ever got, just to let people know how difficult it is, like I could barely even put together a tic-tac-toe game. I had to
Oh,
go
man.
online and like basically look every single step just to make a barely functioning tic-tac-toe game. So I totally get when you're coding. You do one thing, it fixes one thing, and then it breaks
Exactly.
another thing.
That was the thing with the 3D images, is that like one piece of code, because essentially we would have 4 images, and then it would have to go into like this black box essentially and pop back out as like a 3D photo. So you could
So
change like
crazy.
one little thing in that black box, and it would work on like Mo, and it would work on like a lamp post, like when taking a 3D photo. But then I would go up to a plant, and then like the image would explode essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like successful sometimes, and we'd freak out, but then we're like, yo, our like success rate with these photos are like 1%.
Yeah.
And then we get to like 2%, and 3%, then like 4%, but like 4%, imagine that.
And there was finally a moment, I think it was like May 2018. Yeah, like May
Yeah.
2018, where we finally got like a working prototype, and then instantly Mo was like, we gotta take this and test it. We gotta go somewhere like where there's more creative energy. We gotta go somewhere where like we
Oh,
can
this was
really
just a beta.
Yeah,
this
we
was
can
like
just put
the
it out.
step
to
one.
its-
It was not even like, this was just like,
This was like the first like prototype that we
Yeah, the
could
first
really hold in
prototype.
our hands. So
You
like Mo
didn't-
booked
yeah.
a bunch of stuff in Toronto, and we
yeah,
just
since I was already had my photography stuff going, I was like, yo, I'm gonna book a bunch of shoots, pull up, I have a spot, you can stay with me. And then like literally I had like a photo shoot set at 6 a.m. at the studio, like makeup artist, and I had another model come in around like 8, and then another, we literally were shooting for a full day, no sleep. And then like we used all of that.
You
and I guess
use the app? Like,
yeah, we were using the prototype, like trying to see, like we were trying to like, I guess you could speak more on the product side.
yes, like
what
this
the
is
reason
even before it
behind-
was called like Film 3D. It was really just like a camera
it's
button
just beta.
and
It
like the
was
flash
unnamed.
button.
It was
and then
literally a
it was like,
screen, and the shutter was like a pink square.
I think it was called like X Cam or something like
Yeah.
that. I always had like these weird X code words for like whatever project I was working on. So I was like, all right, this is X.
And what was so funny is like nobody knew what we were working on because like we are like basically we don't really tell people till we know it works. So even when we were like when I was doing my shoots, I would like pull out my camera, and then I like kind of like pretend like I'll be taking a 2D picture on my iPhone for like Instagram, but really like we're actually like trying to get this algorithm to work.
Yeah. So, but were you actually also,
then, like,
you're also giving them like high DSLR shots and stuff?
Yeah, of course. I was giving them DSLR shots, and then like there was one point like I had Abdu, he was there and he was on his laptop coding, and I'm like, yo, try, like stand up and try, like I want to see if this works or not, because I was pretending he was my assistant basically, and then like it worked, and we were like, yo, like that's when I feel like we showed this one model like what we were working on, and she was like freaking out because she was like the first time it actually worked, and it looked so cool.
Oh yeah, true.
Just
I forgot
getting
about
some
that.
like user feedback for the first time.
Yeah, that was the first time ever, and we were like, yo, like that's pretty awesome.
So, well,
that wasn't like, even like we weren't even accurate. That was probably like what would you 37% success rate?
Yeah, but I mean like the success rate was like even higher, but the problem was that it would take like 16 seconds, 20 seconds to make a
like
3D
a minute
photo.
or like take forever.
And so, like, how long had you been developing it at that point? Did you ever feel like, it's never gonna work? Like, let's just try something else.
That had been around like November 2017 is when we started coding it, and then May 2018 is when we got the first prototype. July 2018 is when we had like the final like working code for the Film3d.
So you made like rapid progress near the end. You like,
But yeah, like to answer your question, like there was moments. I guess we always knew it was possible because we were getting so close, and just like the idea of being so close.
yeah.
It's like you just don't want to quit. It's like like we came from just nothing to almost something,
Yeah.
and like the day that it was 100%. Because like the funny thing is like we were so confident that we could just release the app the next month, and like we had all these sick ideas, and then like you have to think about like money, and like you have to think about like how to create the app. Like say you need to hire, like we had to hire like a designer,
A computer vision specialist.
Specialist, a consultant for design, and then just like having talked to mentors that have done this before, since like it's our first time, like we're first time founders, and like it took because basically we had we tried to do, was it AR? We tried to do the AR path first.
Yeah, I think that was like the last one that we tried.
Yeah.
Was, like, we tried to
Basically,
do
we
augmented reality.
we hired so many people.
Yeah, it was like within 1 week, I think we had gone through like 4 different interviews.
Yeah.
And then had 4 people working at once to see if they could like speed up our like prototype.
Yeah, we just wanted to speed it up.
Yeah.
And like they all said it was so easy and stuff, but none of them.
Yeah, they
got
would
it.
come back like 2 days later, like, yo, this is really hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, this is like we can't do it.
No, I know what you mean, because like I've developed like effects and presets and stuff, and at one point I was trying to develop like these specific plugins for After Effects, and the coding language that they use is like really unique, and I paid like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, not that much, but I paid $200 a couple times to have this guy try to coach me, and then also to try to have someone like see if they could look at it. I just had to scrap that project and do something else, because
Oh really?
yeah, so I have gone that route where like
Damn.
I pay.
It's the worst. It's
yeah.
it's such a like. It's such a like.
Especially when
I
they
hate
say that
that
they
feeling.
can do it. And then they
Yeah,
come
we had
back.
some people like tell us it's impossible, and like we didn't lose hope. I think what my thing is like I knew we could do it. I knew we could do it. I just didn't. I wanted to be like the first person to do it.
Yeah,
Because every time we'd see people posting a 3D picture, I'm like stressed.
Yeah, we were
Like, you
working
said-
against the clock because you would see like
Yeah.
Will Smith post a 3D
And then, like,
photo,
and he would
Ariana
have,
Grande
like,
post a 3D
10
photo.
million views on a post, and you're
Mhm.
like one of those
And then the
people. can't
worst
be
part
working on
wasn't
it.
even like seeing the photos; it was seeing all the comments below it.
Comments,
Because
yeah.
there was
How do you
like
do this?
thousands of comments. What app is this? How do you do this? What app is this? Where can I get this? It was
It's
crazy.
FOMO.
We
yeah.
were like working against the clock.
Yeah, that was like when I saw Will Smith post it. Like that was the first time I stressed out building the app, and I was like, I like ran to the office, and I just couldn't. Like, I just started working. Like we were like literally working our asses off. It was insane.
Yeah,
We're still doing that.
I know. Yeah.
So I have sunglasses on. I haven't slept in
Yeah,
like 48 hours.
By the way, we've all just been driving for hours and literally just got here.
So
oh yeah,
much
we
road
all just got
tripping.
into
So much
Toronto.
stuff.
None of us are from here.
Straight up working. But you actually touched on something that I think is really important, the budget thing, because you guys are like a compare yourself to I could compare you to like a startup, a young startup at that.
For sure.
And so you've probably you can't just throw money at it. And the thing is, you do have a nice logo and you do have a professional like brand going.
It was hard, like, just like, because not many people, like, I guess this goes away from your budget question, but we'll get back to it.
It's just I just want to, like, how do you finesse all these things with not spending millions of dollars and just being two dudes from auto?
I guess it's like we knew our vision so well is that we could direct everything. We knew exactly what we wanted. Like, I'll do works on the product side, and then I'll do more like creative direction, design. Like, I create the filters and stuff, and Abdul just like knows what he's doing with product.
Exactly.
So
yeah, it's like that whole like draw the rest of the owl mentality, where it's like, you know, first you draw like 2 circles and then you draw the rest of the owl. And I feel like with like a lot of areas where, or like a lot of companies where like these things get really, really expensive, like the tens of thousands of dollars,
yeah, it was
hundreds
crazy.
of thousands,
it was crazy.
Is where like you have the consultant who's coming in like drawing the rest of the owl. But essentially, like, me and Mo were drawing the whole owl at once.
Yeah.
And we were just asking to like, hey, can you come in and make this shading nicer?
Yeah, like we do like what was it called again? The design.
Yeah.
What's it called?
The UI.
Wireframe. Your
Interface,
wireframes.
yeah.
So we were like we built the wireframes. Like, that took a while, and then we set it to the designer. Our designer Novia, I have to give her a big shout out. She's so sick.
Yeah, big shout out to Novia.
Big shout out to Novia. She is so sick. She works so fast and she's so organized. Like, she'll literally send you a day by day plan of what she's doing, and she grinded out our logo in a week and a half. And I was like so hard on her too.
Yeah, Mo's a tough guy to impress when it came to branding and stuff. There was like 40 revisions.
I needed everything perfect because like the name did I name Film3d? I think Film3d. So Mo and we both made it together. We're just sitting in a car and we're like, as a joke, we just said, like, oh, it sounds actually cool. But then with Film3d, we actually went back and forth. And I was working for Canon at the time, and I had my training, and I was just on the sketchbook they gave me, just writing random names.
What do you mean, working like freelance or like working?
No, I was like doing a sales position. Like, they wanted me to help them sell cameras.
Like in store, retail?
Yeah, in store. Oh, and then I was like in training. I don't know if they want to hear that. But I was literally writing down like random names, and I was like sketching it out. I still have the sketchbook, and then I came up with Film3d, and I wanted to be like, people either call it filmed or Film3d. Like, I wanted to be like, you know, 6 black and black. Cause I knew people kept having that conversation. So I was like, yo, that kind of sounds cool. Like, it matches what we need to do, like film and then 3D.
Yeah. So I guess one thing I want to like dig into real quick too is like, so once you're ready to launch the app, you kind of have like a little bit of like a network going with this. You mentioned it, this photography stuff that you've been doing.
Yeah.
Like, is that what you started with? Like doing just straight up like freelance model photography, fashion photography stuff?
I was doing photography for a long time, but I just like realized I just love the art. And then I was just like doing a lot of photography, and then I realized I was building, like, I met like my friends that I have now, like my circle, like all my creative friends. And then I noticed that we're like all my friend group kept growing and growing as we kept like, we've been doing this, like we've been doing all this stuff for like the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's how I developed my network. Like, I've built a pretty crazy portfolio, just like freelancing and just running around.
Because I feel like there's definitely a lot of freelancers and aspiring freelancers and photographers and videographers even that would want to know, like, how do I go about building a page, or how do I even go about booking people, or like, do I work for free? What do I do?
I guess my story was, I have a really funny story. When I first started photography, I was doing everything for free. Like, I just wanted to create art. Like, I didn't really care about the money. I just wanted, like, I was pushing carts for my first camera. I was like working at Farm Boy, and then I bought my camera, and then I guess when it came to booking, like, I just kept working for free, like going to festivals, trying to like sneak pictures of like celebrities. And then once I built that portfolio, it just like people started coming up to me and asking me. But then other than that, like, you kind of just like all that free work, you can sell prints. I remember like before I moved to LA, I think it was it last year or 2 years ago?
LA? That was like spring of last year.
Yeah, I guess. It was before I moved to LA. Like, I wanted to like build my portfolio even more. I sold all my work in the past 3 years. I was like, I'm selling all my prints for $20. It's the only time they'll be ever this cheap. And then like, I've never told anyone the story, but I was working I was taking pictures of families, like 30-minute sessions, every single day. Like I would sneak in, like, and I was going to school, so like whenever I had like in between classes, I would do that. And then I was also working for Canon, so I was working like 3 jobs. You just kind of have to hustle. It's pretty crazy, but yeah.
I think people could. I mean, that's what I did too. Juggled retail and slowly. What did you always make money off of apps and stuff, like the hustle side, or did you also have to like?
I guess the hustle was always involved in terms of like coding and stuff.
So like freelance too, same thing.
Not exactly. So I wasn't really building stuff for other people yet. So how it really all started off was like, I wanted to buy more like sports equipment. Like I was super into soccer, so
Curling?
I wanted to buy more jerseys.
No. Yeah, he wanted to buy curling shit.
This is in like middle school too. I wanted to buy like more jerseys, more like nicer soccer balls, nicer cleats and stuff like that. And so I was like, well, let me try being like super independent and see like if I don't have to ask my parents for this. So what I ended up doing was I like I don't know if you guys played Minecraft very much. But
I never have, but I'm familiar with it.
You could have like these Minecraft servers, and you could have like plugins for them that would make people like be able to play games on them, like totally change the whole playing experience, like from what like the original developers made. And then so I started building all these plugins, and like at first I was giving them out for free, but then I realized like the more advanced that I made them, and like the more they enhanced the gameplay, I could really sell these things. So I had like all these flash sales of like my plugins and everything like that, and that got me like a few $100 that I was able to just like start spending on like the soccer equipment and stuff like that. And that's kind of where I got into just the whole like business aspect of software. And that's where you have to tie in like design and marketing. And then you learn that it's like more than just lines of code on the screen. It's like you have to oversee the whole development of the product and the whole execution of how you market it.
Yeah. So you both come from these backgrounds, but like where exactly are you at right now? Like, are you doing this are you trying to jump into doing this full time? Are you just like in that transition phase right now?
It's kind of like complicated because like I dropped out of school just to go.
Did you graduate high school and dropped out of college?
Yeah, I dropped out on my 3rd year because I was like, that's when like, because I was in business law, and then I wasn't really like in like I loved learning, I loved school, like I was doing great in school. It was just like thinking I'm gonna have to go to law school. And then I'm gonna have to like work for someone, and I'm an independent person. Like I like to be my own boss. That's why I like freelance. And I was like doing so well in photography. That's why I got moved to LA, and I was like, I'm just gonna do this. And then like the idea of it's so recent, so new to us. Like it's
a couple of years.
The app hasn't even been out for a year now, so it's like we both want to go full time. I think it just comes to like investments and like raising money, and just like being able to be comfortable as well.
Exactly, yeah, because like if we're both full-time, then like the main thing that would be like amazing would just be like having the financial freedom to just really be like fully into it. It's like there's no need for like a part-time job or like a side hustle or like a freelance hustle. It would just be like we have the investment needed to fully focus on like making Film3d and making Modu.
Yeah, like since like we launched the app, like we've like every single dime goes into reinvesting into the business.
Yeah, I've noticed because I started following you guys like before the app was launched.
Yeah.
And so I've seen it. It has not been launched for that long. I've seen you take it from like V1 to, I know you've done some updates, and now you're planning to do like a major update.
2.0, yeah.
And
2.0.
Yeah, I've seen you take it from like beta to full app, and like,
yeah, beta was amazing. I loved like the marketing strategies we did for that one.
Yeah, like
I guess that came to your question with like network. It's like my friend Pierre, he showed me this crazy strategy he was doing with his clothing brand, and it was like making an account private, and it would only accept 1,000 people, and it felt like it was super secretive. So I would post Film3d, like I posted basically a 3D picture like 1 week. That was like I announced that we're launching a 3D application, and that's what people were like, why are these guys together? That was the first time I announced it, and then like I was like, follow this now. And like first day, I think we got like 300 followers, and then we kept growing and growing, and then we kept accepting like 100 to 200 to 300, and then we started doing like beta testing, and we made it super secretive, just to like get so many people talking about it, and it worked out.
With the beta, it was crazy because we're like, so we're gonna drop a link at like 9 p.m. on this exact night, and we're gonna have 200 spots open in a spreadsheet for this beta, and when you put your name in this form, it automatically adds you to that sheet. And then
we had like over
it filled up.
1,000 submissions
Yeah, it was crazy.
overnight.
We wanted to only do like one wave of 250 people, I think, and like there was 1,000 people. Like,
and that
the
was
first
just
night.
like off Abdu's and Nine network. Like that was it. And we're like, whoa,
That's really good
insane.
because sometimes you might launch it and
'Cause that's when we knew like it would be a success. It's like
There's
wow,
demand.
There's demand for this in our small network.
Yeah, so we ended up having to do like 2 waves, then 3 waves, then 4 waves.
Like,
it was
we
crazy.
kept, like, adding more people because we wanted to improve on it. Basically, the whole point of the beta is we were like, yo, we know the app is not perfect. Tell us everything you hate about it. And
So
that's what helped us.
did
And
you
we
guys
still
get
do this every day.
any crazy like bugs on like, oh, it doesn't work on Android 0.55?
Oh, we
but it
don't have
works?
Android yet.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
How you planning on? So it's an iPhone only.
it's
I know that the
iPhone
coding
only.
languages
Mhm.
are different, right?
Yeah. Oh, we've definitely been planning Android. Like it's gotten to the point where some of the people who want it have been like finding Mona's like personal
it's
Instagram
like crazy.
handles.
There's like they're haters, but we love them. Like
Yeah, I
they love
guess I
us. They
should
love us, but hate us for not having it on Android.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I guess I should say I will have all that stuff linked, but yeah, you guys have both of your accounts, but there's also the Film3d app account.
Yeah.
So I'll have all that stuff linked.
Yeah.
Cool.
But,
There was one funny story that I almost forgot about. Like that was even like before beta, and it was like we were filming our like commercial video for the app, and then so I believe that was like August 1st, and then so the night before we had run into like a bug within the app, and if like that bug kept going within the app, then like we wouldn't have been able to film the commercial with like the live version of the app. We would have had to just like do it in post and use like a green screen on the phone, which would have been like
Tell me
terrible.
how I booked. I literally worked my. Can I swear?
yeah.
I worked my ass off.
his app.
Setting up, casting this whole video. I had a good team. Like shout out kids at Kids Studio. They helped. Like they killed it. But like we worked so like I was with them every day grinding trying to get this together. And Abdu's literally last minute shows up on set, and he's like, "I fixed it."
It's not working. Oh,
From
Exactly.
Ottawa, and we were shooting this all in Toronto.
Oh,
because
it
he was
was-
telling me, he's like, "Yo, we're gonna have to pretend like we're shooting it."
It was so funny because like we had that bug and I went to bed for like a couple hours because like our flight was so early in the morning, and I get to the airport and I don't know if this is like some sort of miracle or something, but my flight's delayed. So I'm able to pull out my laptop and just keep working on it, and I finally fixed the bug. Did like a little fist bump in the airport.
It was stressing because we had
That's
like I had like an
Looked
hour
like a
of
total
studio
nerd in
time.
the airport.
that's from the clutch high school athletic days, probably.
Yeah.
Clock running
exactly
down.
when
That's the
I-
buzzer
you
beater.
got that good curling
I
shot.
totally
buzzer
that was
beater.
definitely a buzzer beater. I was actually like I remember that. I was like, "Yo, guys, we might just have to pretend like we're taking it using the app. Like pull out your camera."
But yeah, that was definitely one.
And
of
then
the
he pulls out
craziest
of
moments.
nowhere. I was like, "Did you fix it?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Wow, let's get this show rolling."
So you guys have a functioning app now. I mean, it works. It's awesome. You got free and paid filters, and you know the app works. You can take and I mean people are using it, right? You got like lots of people taking snaps with it.
We've had like there's 3 million captures so far.
Like so overall, like 3 million people have taken a photo with this
Oh,
app.
so
That's
like,
crazy.
Like
There's
3
been like
million.
100,000 people.
Like
Over
there's
100,000.
Oh,
over
yeah.
100,000 users, but
yeah,
like 3 million.
But yeah, someone might take like 10.
Yeah, but no, this is just like our first step. Like I guess we could talk about 2.0.
Yeah. Well, yeah. As we're in the final half of this like podcast, I wanted to talk about like, so that's where you came from, where you're at now. But like, I did have some questions about, like you guys brought it up, investments is really interesting.
Mhm.
Like, so what's your monetization plan? And also, I wanted to ask like, is there an end goal? Like, if Facebook comes and says,
You asked
Yo,
me this before.
we're gonna
Remember we were
buy
at
you guys
Instagram?
out, I don't remember.
Because we showed up at
we
Instagram,
FaceTimed.
and I posted like we were in San Francisco, and we posed behind
Oh,
an Instagram.
yeah,
page.
you guys
we
were-
were at Instagram at Facebook.
Yeah,
and you were
I
like,
thought
"Yo,
Facebook
you're
was about
so
to buy you guys out.
you were like, you got acquired."
I mean, is that in the idea or what?
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
That'd definitely be lit. I mean, we're
I
definitely
mean, like
open
we're
to it.
definitely like we have such a crazy master plan. It's like Film3d is just like the
The
start.
Genesis.
It's
point.
just like because right now it's like it's not the perfect app, and like we want to keep like we want to make it perfect. We want to make it the best product that it could be, and then like advance on it.
Yeah.
Just like work on other stuff.
Exactly, yeah. And like the thing about acquisitions is that it's like it's never like the price or like who the company is. It's just about like how would they treat the company after they buy it out? Like, would they,
Yeah.
we wouldn't want someone who would like, take the app and just like completely disassemble it and just like throw it around in like the different parts of their platform.
We want them to understand the vision, because like the vision is
exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, like the vision of just bringing more immersion to people's lives and then putting more power in the hands of the creator too.
So you're hinting at like even physical and off digital stuff, like a whole lifestyle around it almost.
Oh yeah,
It could be possible.
Or like a whole
Future.
brand. Like you guys got these cool chains. Like, can I
Oh,
buy
yeah.
one of those?
No, they're not for sale. No, these are just awards, because like we actually, a funny story is just to like,
It says Modu if you guys can't see right
Yeah,
there.
then on the back too.
Yeah.
Like the.
What does it say on the back?
I don't know how.
this is
100K
100K.
snaps.
No, we're literally the most different tech company in the world. Who do you know in tech that has a chain?
I feel like Mark Zuckerberg probably has some chains. No. Probably not.
We just want to do it. It's like just being young, but like the whole point behind the chain was just like I was noticing like rappers wearing chains, and then I was just like, yeah, this is like a marketing strategy. Like that's their brand. Like people see it every single day, and it's like instead of a T-shirt, I was like, hey, like I want people to know like this is a lifestyle to me. So like having it on, it is like people talk about it all the time and ask me questions, and I love answering.
Yeah.
I think it's just like a modern way, a new young way, and I see like people with chains and it works.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna become a trend. It's just like apps, startups, whatnot, just like evolving past, like not evolving past necessarily, but like that whole era of like buttons and stickers and everything like that. Like
and like posters, we were so against like all that stuff.
Yeah,
like
let's make it cool. Let's make it fun. Let's like grab some things that are popping in like all around culture right now. So things like chains. Maybe even expand on later to like clothing, etc. like that.
Yeah, because you guys are right now filmed is like the main thing, but obviously there's other features and things that you can do as Modu, or like you could even consult me on my app or something or stuff like that. Obviously, it can be a bigger umbrella than just filmed as its own thing.
Exactly.
But, so, like you said, like this is how you guys are approaching it, and that kind of gets into like how are you competing with. Because when you enter the camera app space, now you're competing with Snapchat and Instagram
and Facebook.
And so like these are top dogs. So like what do you do, not necessarily to compete with them, but to differentiate yourself enough to deserve someone to download your app? Because every single day now Instagram will be like, oh, you want to add that new feature, Snapchat? We're just going to add the stories. We're just going to add the live streams. They have the boomerangs.
Yeah.
But then
Which
you
they
still...
stole.
Yeah.
I'd say there's like two things to it. There's like one, which is like the temporary like white flag, and then there's two, which is like the secret sauce behind the app. So like the first thing being like the temporary white flag is that instead of like launching a social network within the app from like day one, what we've done is added the ability to export out directly to Snapchat and Instagram from inside the app. And that plays off what some other companies did wrong in the past in terms of launching a social network over their new photo feature. And then that would cause companies like Instagram and Snapchat to go for them. Like there was an app called Photo with a bunch of H's in it, and they had a looping video feature where like the video would loop back and forth. And then so they launched a social network, and then Facebook has really smart data, so they can see when you're using like an app that's not inside of their platform.
It's crazy.
And they were seeing a lot of usage from this app called Photo because they launched a social network in theirs. And then that's how Boomerang got started. So 2 weeks later, after a lot of Instagram engineers started using Photo, then Boomerang came out inside the Instagram app. So we're really trying to avoid that with like this whole white flag stance of like, let's just allow people to export.
Yeah,
out
it's like
to
a
those
tool.
platforms.
It's like a tool for Instagram.
Yeah, almost make yourself like a third-party plugin.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because that's how a lot of apps blow up. Like I saw like the Huji app or whatever.
Yeah, that thing is still blowing up. It's crazy.
And even like what's the other one?
Is like a video camera.
No, what's the other app with the
VHS camcorder?
No, the other app with like the filters.
Visco.
No.
Yeah, Visco.
Yeah, it's like why would
Visco-
anyone
no,
use
Visco's
Visco?
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Visco is
Visco
like
has
the
a-
original like kind of alternative.
I don't use Visco, but I love like their brand. Like they're like everything of like Visco is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I've never
love
used it
Visco.
though.
I think what it is they know that they're not going to compete on the social media platform side, or maybe they don't, but they offer the different editing capabilities and filters and features
Yeah.
that they know, like, yeah, you can just take this and then put it on Instagram, but we give you all these hip looks
Mm-hmm.
that Instagram's not
And
giving
they
you.
kill it. Like they crush it.
Yeah.
I wanna Fisco. If you're watching this, I wanna do a collab with
Link
you.
Yeah, Visco, collab, please. That'd be
You
fire.
never know.
That'd be
Some
like a
g-
dream collab. Like I was actually talking about. I was like, yo, like, I have this idea. I'm gonna pitch it.
And you never know who's
Yeah.
watching. Like sometimes, like I just post a picture of like I got this guitar. Some dude from Fender is like, "Yo, I work in the photo team at Fender. If you're ever in the area, you come take a tour of the studio." It's like cool.
That's
It's
crazy.
cool who like
You never
just
know.
watches. Yeah, like you're saying with Snoop Dogg tweeting out your
Yeah,
thing.
that's crazy. I want to get a 3D
Crazy.
photo of Snoop Dogg. That'd be brazy.
Yeah, you should
Do
get
a
him on
follow
film.
up.
He was actually in Toronto 2 weeks ago for his listening party.
Oh man, missed it.
I
But,
slept on it. I did not want to be there.
So yeah, I think we touched on like a lot of the come up and the struggle of creating an app, and even like what do you plan on going forward. So that's what we touched on, like the competitors. What is, I guess, the next near future then? Like you guys are gearing up to launch V2,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
V2 is.
Can you say
Yeah, I mean, you want to
Some
talk about
hints?
the product point? I guess I could talk about like marketing.
I guess like the first thing that like I
by
guess
the
the
time
viewers should
people
understand.
watch this, it might.
Yeah, so I mean, like me and Mo always do this like trick when we're telling people about the app that like we really want them to get like interested in like the whole vision of the company as a whole. So we're gonna ask you to close your eyes.
All right.
All right, now I want you to open them back up. Now look around the room. You're currently experiencing the world around you with both your visuals and your audible, like with your ears, in 3D.
This is
But
getting
now-
religious.
If you look at your device and you look at the social media on your device, it's not the same on there. Like you're seeing 2D, you're seeing it's like in 2D, both like audible and it's visual too. So like even though we have video, even though you feel more immersed by that, it's still not what it could be. So that's our goal, is that we want to kind of destroy that gap between the real life
Yeah.
and your phone by just introducing more immersive technologies.
Yeah, like another way of looking at it is like just picture like your favorite memory when you were a child, or like your favorite memory, and imagine just like going back and looking at your phone and just like being able to like really hear what's going on and like kind of like feel like you're actually there. That's like our goal.
Okay, sweet. So some
It's a lot more
VR,
immersion.
AR.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like
and
VR and AR for sure.
Yeah, I don't know much about where that technology is going, but I know a lot of stuff is like developing around it.
Yeah, it's a billion-dollar
Exactly, yeah.
market.
And then so like there's
Almost
so many
trillion.
steps in our product plan like towards that, but definitely Mo can talk about some of the stuff that we're doing in V2 just to bring ourselves closer to that.
Yeah, so now we've got the app, we've got all these cool different filters. We're even talking about doing collaborated filters. So like I design a filter and put it on there, which maybe
That'd
by
be
the time
so
you guys
fire.
are listening to this,
V2.0.
I might-
It's in the works. This is like, yo, can I say
any
something?
brand new, sure, go
Can I
ahead.
say something?
You can say whatever you want.
Yo, you know what's so crazy?
What's crazy?
You know what's so crazy?
What's
What's
crazy?
crazy?
When I bought my first laptop, the first thing I installed was Photoshop, and I swear to God, the first tutorial I watched was yours.
That's so cool.
That's
actually.
crazy to think
Because
about.
a lot of people don't know I made Photoshop tutorials first. So this is like 5, 6, 7 years
No,
ago.
I think it's like 8 years ago now.
A long time ago. I made like hundreds of Photoshop tutorials first. It's so crazy how that stuff comes full circle. So you like stumbled upon one of the Photoshop tutorials.
Yeah, and I was like trying to like, I think I was trying to like do a Gaussian blur.
Yeah.
I was trying to like,
I have so many random tutorials.
I was trying to like,
Clone
in
stamp
every
tool.
single video, like I was like, this is the next, like, and what's crazy is every video you did was the next thing I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And my homie Andy, like we were like both on the same page. We were just like learning and learning and learning. And I guess like now what's crazy is like we're in conversation, like we're friends now, and like it's pretty crazy that we're gonna be able to work on some new stuff on the app together.
Yeah. I've
which
had so
I'm
many
looking
cool
forward to do.
yeah, full circle. Like it sounds like fake or it sounds weird or made up, but I had some crazy full circle moments like that. Like
Seriously.
yeah, we're like
I believe that. You're in the game. You're
This
like
is
an
one of
OG,
them.
but you're so young.
I hope I'm just trying to keep it going. But yeah, that's so I'll leave all the links to everything by the time you guys watch this. I mean, the filmed app is already up, so you can download
yeah,
it. By the
but-
time you watch this, who knows what version
But
you're
just
gonna be on.
we'll be
But I'm
on
sure the
2.0,
app will be lit.
the
and,
craziest
yeah.
Film3d ever.
Oh, this one's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, this one. I guess you want to talk about product, or do you want to keep that?
I mean, I can give some hints.
No, talk about like the motion capture.
Yeah, just know that like the current way of capture is that like it's completely changing. We're building out a whole new thing that we've been working on since January. I want to say it's like the longest time we've spent on a technology besides like the 3D technology itself, and we want that to be like
Just a lot.
yeah, as I mentioned before,
simple.
like the secret sauce. That's what's like you recognize that as a film 3D. You know that someone's taking a film
Yeah.
3D when you see
how
how the capture is going to
yeah.
be done.
and then
And it's
like
going to be a whole
we
experience around that central like screen.
Yeah, and just like more filters, packages, just like everyone keeps asking for more filters, so got you
Yeah.
guys.
Exactly.
And
So
then-
right now it's like an app, but we're like our end goal for 2.0 is that we want it to feel like a platform.
Yeah, we want it to feel like a platform for
Dope.
sure.
Well, yeah. This was an awesome conversation. Honestly, this touched on a lot of super interesting points, and like I love getting into the coding and tech side of it along with
Thank
the
you for
photography.
having us.
So yeah, thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Everyone who's listening, thank you for listening. If you got this far,
Thank you guys.
definitely check out Film3d on the App Store, right? iTunes App
yeah,
Store.
try it out. Let us know what
Try
you
it out.
think.
Yeah, it's free. It's cool camera app. I link a lot of people to it when they ask me how to do those
Yeah.
effects without the camera. And
Thank
if you
you.
enjoyed this episode, leave a rating on it wherever you are. Like 5-star. If you're on iTunes, YouTube, it's available on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify. Subscribe for future episodes. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.